Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back. UFC Baku is just wrapped up. I'm going to be going through the full card, giving you guys my thoughts on a lot of the fights. There's some interesting fights, some kind of boring fights. On paper, it was a really good card. In reality, it was in mid-card. I actually didn't realize that this started early or like on time for Baku, and I was on the train coming back to Montreal, and I was like, oh shit, like I missed all the early prelims. So I went on this cool thing called the internet and watched all the fights again for free, not using Fight Pass. So that was sick. I don't know. I got some things to say about this card. All in all, it was an interesting card, but we'll get to it. We're gonna start to go through the fights at the very bottom of the card, just because I think honestly, the majority of like the actually fights, entertaining fights, were at the bottom, which is kind of crazy. Not crazy, but bro, this guy, Hamdi, he looks like one of those like kebab things with all the meat on it that they just like shave meat off of. It looks like you could just do that. Just keep shaving away. Bro is, I don't know, man. Like, it's actually ridiculous how out of shape and unathletic the majority of all heavyweights in this division are, in the UFC are. And we'll get to the main event in a bit, but Muhammad Usman is somehow, he's actually a little bit better shape than Hamdi, but he's like a million times worse of an athlete. And he got the win here. I don't know. I don't think he should have got the win. I think he deserved the win. I think he like won the round in the fight, but I think Hamdi, like based off how the first round went and his natural talent, he should have beat Muhammad Usman. Muhammad Usman looks like he was like 3 months into learning MMA. His striking is absolutely atrocious. He has pretty much zero technique, and he's got Kamaru Usman's cobblestone knees. Like every single time this guy steps, he like jerks around. Like he cannot even take a step without looking like he's gonna fall over. Like not even getting hit by a punch. Like literally, he'll throw a punch, he'll try to step forward, and it looks like he's gonna tumble forward over his own body or backwards. Same thing. Like it's actually ridiculous how unathletic this guy is. It's insane. Like he's the most unathletic person I've ever seen in my life. He might actually be there. And I was actually impressed with how well Hamdi moved and how athletic he moved for a guy that is literally 1,000,000 pounds. They were saying he walks around at 285 pounds and had to cut weight for this. He shouldn't have to cut weight. He's literally a blob. I don't know. I don't understand. Both of them are, Muhammad Usman isn't like extremely out of shape, but he's extremely unathletic, and Hamdi is extremely out of shape, but somehow still slightly athletic. It was a good fight. And by good fight, I mean an awful fight. Hamdi won the first round, and it kind of looked like he was going to take over. And then Usman hit him with a couple shots, and Hamdi started to respect it a little bit more. And somehow, Muhammad Usman got the better of the striking exchanges in the second and third round, even though he has zero skill. And Hamdi's got this good wrestling, or supposedly good wrestling background. He didn't use any of it, so I don't know. It was kind of just why is this a UFC level caliber fight? This, on the other hand, Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maxim was a sick fight. Again, this is why I talk about liking one championship fights and stuff like that. You have guys like these two who are super talented, fighting literally every fight on the card. You're not watching a 300-pound sack of pork Hamdi try to figure out how to fight another Muhammad Usman who can't walk around the cage. It's atrocious. But this fight was good. This was a very skilled, high-level flyweight bout. Both the guys looked really good. They actually had Tagir looks a little bit skinnier and lankier, and also, looks like he got hit by a bus compared to Azat Maxim. But they're both the almost exact same frame when we saw them in the fight. And I thought the scorecards were a little bit excessive to be 30-27 for Tagir. Somebody's got to win the rounds. They're all very, very close rounds. And, total strikes, you can see super close. And, takedowns for Azat Maxim. Azat Maxim was really good in the striking. He was holding his own against Tagir. He was landing. I think it was very, very, very close, each round. I thought at least if Tagir might have had a little bit better of all the exchanges, tiny, tiny bit. It was 55% the fight Tagir's way and 45% the way Azat Maxim's way. But Azat Maxim did a really good job in striking, holding his own ground, and landing really good shots. He did good in the clinch using the uppercuts. He had really good takedown defense, and he had good takedowns of his own. And I thought there was parts where he could have stole rounds, especially like in the third, getting those 2 takedowns at the end and stuff like that. I could have saw when I watched this fight, I could have saw it going either way. If you gave the fight to Maxim, I wouldn't have been like, that's crazy. If you gave it to Daria, I wouldn't have been, that's crazy. But 30-27, 2 scorecards, 30-27 seemed a little bit crazy because, in my opinion, each round was like, it was very, very close and could be a toss-up. Maxim is very good. I was impressed. This next fight, I haven't watched either of these chicks fight before. Irina Aleskeva is awful at fighting. I thought after the first round that maybe she can make something happen just by being absolutely reckless and throwing zero technique into these punches and literally just swinging them across her body like this. And no, she did very badly because Claudia Sigela is actually half decent at striking compared to Irina Aleskeva. She's really bad. The technique was like, it was awful. It was actually really hard to watch. And Claudia Silva Sigela, for some reason, is like fighting like literally like hunchback. Her back's hunched over so much, and she's kind of just like really giving up a lot of range and a lot of, I don't know. It was an interesting performance from both these guys, but for the most part, Claudia had way better striking and just pieced up Irina Aleskeva for like the whole fight. And it was an entertaining fight because they were slugging it out and they were fighting. It was not like they were like trying to win a competition. These girls were fighting, and it was mostly just Irina trying to do something without any technique and getting beat up for it. But they were fighting, and it made it entertaining, but it was super low level. And next fight, Daria Zelen, this is too big of a Russian name, I cannot pronounce it, versus Melissa Mullins. This was a good fight. After the first round, I thought Daria was going to just piece up Melissa Mullins for the whole fight. I know this is a rematch, and Daria lost the first one, but she looked really good in the striking at the beginning of the fight. But she got caught in a really close, I believe, armbar at the very end of the first round. That, you know, if it wasn't the end of the first round, it could have been over. Melissa Mullins worked her way back in the second, third round. She was doing a lot better in the striking. Daria kind of slowed down a bit. Her punches didn't have quite as much sting on them as they did before, and she wasn't able to walk Melissa Mullins down as much. The first round, she kind of pressured forward and walked her down and was landing shots for the most part at will. Had her hurt right at the beginning. Actually had her face like all beat up after like the first minute of the round. Second, third round, Melissa Mullins did a lot better of pressuring Daria, but she was still getting hit with the cleaner and the better shots in the striking. And she didn't shoot very many takedowns, which kind of was her path to victory. It wasn't the first fight. Probably was going to be in this fight if she shot more takedowns, but she didn't. I mean, she got 3 takedowns out of 6. She shot 6 takedowns. Not a crazy number. Daria Silva got it done. It was a good fight. It was an entertaining fight. More high level than the first women's fight, but you know, not like whoa. Daria Silva's striking looked pretty good, but she was pretty bad on the ground when it came to Mullins. Takedowns and grappling. I think if she goes against somebody with better grappling, she's gonna have a really hard time. This next fight, Ishmael Nurdiev versus Young Park. This was a crazy fight just because of what happened. Ishmael Nurdiev, I don't know how you want to say that. He literally cheated. Like, the fact that he had a chance to still win this fight was kind of crazy. They took away 2 points, which I've never seen, but like, even with taking away 2 points, you still give this guy like a chance. Like, he had almost 2 full rounds to finish a fight, which he almost got finished in the first round. I think if he didn't throw that knee and he actually just followed up with different shots, like, I don't know, just not illegal knees to a grounded opponent, I think he could have gotten Young Park out of there. So for him to have another 2 rounds to do that seemed a little bit unfair, because he probably should have just got DQ'd and Young Park should have won without having to take any more further damage. But it was good to see Young Park come back in the second, third round and kind of just beat Ishmael Nurdiev up and dominate and have fun with it. He was smiling when he had his back at the end of the third round, just kicking his butt. Dying Turtle reigns again. He's kind of a slow starter, and Ishmael Nurdiev was piecing him up in the first round. In the striking, I don't think Ishmael Nurdiev's striking is that good. I think it's okay, but he looked pretty loose in there still. He was just a little bit faster, and a little bit more willing to throw more in the first round against Jung Young Park. And Jung Young Park always takes a little bit of time to work into fights. Second, third round, even after getting blasted in the face with an illegal knee and having his eye cut like right open and probably having a hard time seeing out of it, he started building into the fight and beat Ishmael Nurdiev up pretty badly. And I don't know if this will show me the scorecards, but I think he won like 4 rounds. I don't know how that works, but it was interesting. Next up, we got Oban Elliott versus Shung Young KO. Oban Elliott kind of got dominated on the ground in this fight, and I didn't really see that coming because KO is kind of more of a striker, right? But he had really good grappling, and he kind of just mauled Oban Elliott. It is what it is. Oban Elliott, and he's 3-0. Oban Elliott's 3-0. So Song Keong or KO, whatever. I can't pronounce that either. But I mean, pretty good debut. Mohamed Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. This was an entertaining fight at the very beginning. It kind of slowed down a little bit, and then Bogdan looked really good, and it was a pretty close fight, but I think he kind of lost it in the third round when he started to slow down a bit. He kind of got a little bit tired out. But for the most part, it was pretty good back and forth. The striking in the first round, in my opinion, was pretty close. The grappling, Bogdan did a good job of kind of pressuring Mohamed Naimov up against the fence. This was another one of the fights where I had it pretty close as well, but I would have given it to Mohamed Naimov as well. I actually, for some reason, when I'm thinking back to this fight, I can't remember any like really big significant moments. It was kind of more just like in the striking, they're pretty evenly matched, and then a lot of fence grappling and stuff like that. This next fight, though, Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mota, was a banger and probably one of the better fights I've seen in the year. Like definitely one of the top 5 fights I've seen this year. Nazim Sadikov, every fight I've watched of his has been, it's been entertaining. He's a good fighter. He's very technical. He's got good striking. He's got good grappling, good takedown defense, and dude's got heart. Dude has got a lot of heart. He's always getting hurt and not always getting hurt, but he's working his way out of tough situations a lot of times in his fights and overcoming them, and that's exactly what happened in this fight. Nicholas Mota, I don't really remember watching any of his fights in the past. You can call me casual. I probably have at some point, but he looked good. His striking wasn't as clean as Nazim's, but it was good enough and technical enough, and he was throwing harder, bigger shots than Nazim just because he's, a little bit stronger, bigger guy than Nazim. And that's kind of what evened out the striking in the first round. Like, Nicholas Mota, even though he was a little bit less technical than Nazim, it was, close enough, and he was throwing hard enough where it kind of equaled out. And dude's got a chin. Nicholas Mota's got a chin. He got hit with some good shots. But in the first round, I thought the fight was going to be over. He hit Nazim with a really, really good body shot and followed up with a 70-punch combo. And Nazim is up on the fence, just blocking, but also literally just standing there eating punches. I thought the ref could have stopped it at any time, before Nazim kind of made his way out of there, because I think we've seen a lot of other fights stopped for less, and I was worried that it was going to get stopped. It looked like Nazim was really hurt and wasn't able to do much. He was just covering up, and we've said this on the channel a lot, but if you're just covering up with these small MMA gloves, yes, it'll help, and yes, you can block a lot of the shots, but when you have somebody like Nicholas Mota putting everything into hook, uppercut, hook, that shit's gonna hurt you. Whether you have your guard up, whether you block it, even if your hand's here, it's gonna rock you, and eventually it's gonna find a good one that lands clean, and then it's gonna hurt you again. Then you're gonna be stuck in this whole cycle going from blocking to getting hurt again to getting rocked, and that's kind of what we saw. Somehow Nazim, kind of made it through there. The ref didn't stop the fight. He probably could have, but he didn't. And Nazim worked his way back into the fight, had a great end of the first round, and came out and stopped Nicholas Mota in the third round, or in the second round, with TKO. It was a really nasty KO. He hit him with a good combo up against the fence when Nicholas Mota was kind of covering up, same way as Nazim did, and hit him with a really nice uppercut. It was a really good comeback, and it was really cool to see because he's from Azerbaijan, and the whole crowd was screaming at him, and he had a big kind of comeback moment. And he's a good fighter. This was a really good fight. It was a very entertaining fight. My my Tech Oralbly, I cannot say this guy's name very well either, versus Tafik Mustafayev. At first, Tafik actually impressed me with his takedown defense. It looked like he was going to be okay. It looked like he might, do half decently in this fight, or at least, be able to defend enough to make it an entertaining fight. And this brother here, staring into my soul, absolutely came out and just mauled him into grappling and submitted him very, very quickly with a Kimura, I believe. He got him I thought after he defended the first 2 takedowns, I was like, okay, it's going to be a little bit closer fight than it was, and then it wasn't. And my Tech Oralbly just got him out of there, no problem. And Tafik Mustafayev is probably, not going to do very well in the UFC. It is what it is. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. Blades, honestly, both these guys, again, are literally, the heavyweight division is just fat, unathletic, untalented people, minus, Tom Aspinall. And there's, the top 5. The top 5 are, the only athletic people in this division. And Curtis Blades, I think, is top 5, but he should not, because he's very still unathletic and still kind of fat for heavyweight. Bro's guts coming over his jeans. When that happens, you're not in shape. Anyways, I was just, in this fight, I was more just disappointed in Curtis Blades. I heard that he had an ACL injury in the first round, but his striking looked awful, man. It's never been good, but I was watching this and I was like, man, this guy is just, striking is just not good. Rizvan Kuniev's striking was better than Curtis Blades, looked better than Curtis Blades. I get that you could give Curtis Blades the win here, but honestly, dude, he did not look good in this fight, and it was not something I'm like, oh yeah, let's go see him fight anybody else who's talented, like Tom Aspinall. No, if anything, my opinion on Curtis Blades went from oh, he's a good top 5 fighter in the heavyweight division to, oh, he actually is just not very talented, but he's in the heavyweight division, so it's okay. And, he's going to work his way up to probably another title shot somehow. I wasn't impressed at all. I was actually impressed with Rizvan Kuniev. I thought his fighting, striking, whatever you want to call it, his boxing was better than I expected, but still not great. This fight just kind of, first of all, it was boring as balls. It was a super boring fight, and it just made me rethink how good Curtis Blades was. I don't think he's very good. Raphael versus Ignasio Bahamondes. This was a good fight. This was an entertaining fight. This was the main event of the card, as everybody else left after this fight was done, which is kind of crazy to walk out on Khalil Roundtree versus Jamahal Hill. But, it was a boring fight, so fair enough. They did the right thing. Raphael, it's good to see him getting some super love. I don't know what I was going to say there, but some, big support, fighting his home country of Azerbaijan. Raphael's been one of my favorite fighters for, ever since I first watched one of his fights. Super technical, his striking is always really good. He showed some grappling, some takedowns in this fight, which I think was a smart thing to do. But overall, he was just a little bit cleaner and a little bit stronger in the striking. He was landing harder. He was landing the better shots. He's a little bit cleaner than Ignasio. And Ignasio Bahamondes is a really tall guy for the division, but he doesn't fight super long all the time. So I think that gave Raphael Fiziev a little bit of an easier time with him. Also, Ignasio Bahamondes was throwing some things that, just kind of didn't make sense, like an axe kick, it wasn't really going to work. But whatever. It was a good fight. It was a really entertaining fight. Both guys had a good striking match. There's not much to say. Raphael Fiziev kind of just came out and did his thing. He looked good. His cardio held up the whole fight. He was smart about winning the rounds. He would throw in a takedown at the end, or have the bigger moments, or avoid, giving Ignasio Bahamondes a chance to win a round at the very end of it when he was up already throughout the fight. So it was a good, smart, kind of veteran fight from Raphael Fiziev, and I don't think it was showing another level to his game. It was more just the takedowns added something, and he could shoot takedowns against other people a little bit more, and I think he should shoot takedowns a little bit more as well. But it just showed that he's kind of matured in fighting a little bit more than he had 2 fights ago, because normally he would have just kept it standing the whole time and just tried to bang and make the most entertaining fight possible. Whereas here he was trying to, still have an entertaining fight and a good striking match or whatever, but, make sure he won the fight and got his hand raised. And it's not like it's a tough challenge for him. Like, Ignasio is a good fighter, so good win from Raphael. I'm excited to see him take more dubs. You want to come to it? Hello, it's fine. It's good to see him take more dubs, but yeah. And now we have to deal with this shit. This is Khalil versus Jamahal Hill. Dude, this was kind of the same thing as the Raphael except for a million times worse, where it was like veteran move to try to like make sure you won the fight. Khalil Roundtree won 50-45. Jamahal Hill sucks. I've never thought Jamahal Hill was really good at fighting at all. Like, again, we talk about the heavyweights. Jamahal Hill isn't even a heavyweight, and he's fat as hell. Like, he's fat as fuck, and he needs to go to the gym, and he needs to look at Khalil versus Jamahal Hill. Like, one of them is actually taking their fitness seriously and training. The other one is attending classes here and there and eating whatever he wants from the fridge. It's just, there's a difference. And there's a huge difference in athleticism that we see in a lot of the fighters. Jamahal Hill is not very naturally athletic. You can tell that by the way he walks around, by the way he fights. He's super flat-footed. He's just super flat-footed, and he's like a little bit better. He's like a better version of Muhammad Usman, where like every time he steps, he kind of looks like he's just putting way too much weight on his feet. He's not fluid with his movements. His striking, I don't think his striking is that good. He was landing a couple good calf kicks at the beginning. For the most part, every time Khalil Roundtree throws like anything at him, he's leaning back like this, like trying to counter with his head up, chin up, like just throwing his hands, like leaving his feet there because either he's too fat or too lazy to take a step back and then counter on the way out. I don't know. I was very unimpressed with Jamahal Hill, and I've never been impressed with Jamahal Hill. Like, I never thought his striking was good. People are like, oh, he's got like one punch knockout power. Dude, I really just think his striking is really quite bad. And I think he won against, the fact that he got a title fight or won a title is crazy, but Glover Teixeira, first of all, striking's never been good. Second of all, he's pretty washed last fight, like super old. And all Jamahal Hill did was defend the takedowns and have enough cardio to deal with a really old Glover Teixeira who's never had insane cardio. I don't know. I thought Khalil Roundtree was going to win this fight. I thought Khalil Roundtree would do a better job of winning this fight. He kind of sucked as well. I was not impressed with Khalil Roundtree either. It was kind of a fight where it's like, oh, Jamahal Hill really sucks, and oh, Khalil Roundtree probably will never win a title because he doesn't have, like, I don't know, he doesn't do enough. He doesn't have enough output. Like, his output was so low in this fight, and I know he was trying to, make sure he was smart and win rounds, but, like, he could have got Jamahal Hill out of there just via low kicks. Like, just by throwing low kicks, he could have got Jamahal Hill out of there in the third round, and all he would have had to do was throw more low kicks. Like, Jamahal Hill wasn't checking them, he wasn't countering. It wasn't like Khalil Roundtree had anything to worry about when he was throwing low kicks. He just didn't. Like, he could just do way, way, way more. He would throw so little significant strikes after, like, he's piecing Jamahal Hill up however he wants. He's throwing, like, hammer fist. His overhand, first of all, his overhands that he's throwing are, like, he has no setup for a lot of his stuff. He's just throwing it, like leaping in and throwing it, but he doesn't have any setup, so it's very easy to kind of evade. But even his overhands, the big overhands he's throwing them like this. Like, he's throwing them like a hammer fist. There's no technique. It drove me crazy how bad his overhands were. The big straight, like, it was just bad. It was just really bad. And anyways, he was getting Jamahal Hill with a lot of, like, leaping in big shots. The low kicks were good. His kicks were good. There's way too little, not often enough. Like, he was throwing way too little. He wasn't mixing it up super well. And he should have got Jamahal Hill out of there in the second or third round. Like, no questions asked. He hurt Jamahal Hill a couple times, but he never followed up. He never threw more than, 2 to 3 punches or kicks at a time without waiting another 15, 30 seconds, minute later to throw more. He didn't have a lot counter-wise for Jamahal Hill. And he spent the end of every single round literally just circling around the cage, going side to side, it was a very boring, lackluster fight, and it didn't prove Khalil Roundtree's striking was any better. It just kind of proved to me that Jamahal Hill's striking is awful, which I kind of knew, and that Khalil Roundtree doesn't have a whole lot of output. Like, I was actually really disappointed in how bad Jamahal Hill looked, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. But I was more disappointed with, Khalil Roundtree's ability to get this fight finished or just throw more. Like, he literally had so many opportunities to just keep the input the same, or the output the same, as, like, he'll throw, like, 30 seconds where he's just piecing up Jamahal Hill, and then he'll just wait for, like, 2 minutes. And there was no need to wait. If he just kept going with combos, being semi-careful, like, he was going to finish Jamahal Hill, and I just didn't. So I was kind of disappointed about this main event. It wasn't very entertaining. Jamahal Hill's on a 3-fight losing streak, but against good people, but still quite a bit. And bro needs to go to the gym and he needs to learn how to fight properly because his technique's awful. Khalil Roundtree's Muay Thai is pretty good, but I don't think it's, like, insane. People are talking about him being this Muay Thai specialist. I think he's got good Muay Thai for, like, light heavyweight. But if you put this guy's skills and technique at any weight class below 155, he's gonna look like bottom of the tank. Like, his Muay Thai's not that good. He's not checking a single kick. He's not countering on any kicks. He's throwing his overhands like this. For the most part, he's not mixing it up very well. Anyways, I wasn't impressed with either of these fighters in this fight, and it was kind of a very boring fight. So for all the people that left, I get it. And I've been rambling for a long time. So that wraps up kind of the recap for the card. I hope you guys enjoyed. Nothing crazy, kind of just me complaining about some fighters. Just technique or ability to get the job done or just push the pace. It is what it is. We have a good fight card coming next week. I'm going to give this fight card probably a 5 out of 10. I actually didn't enjoy it that much. And I had like 6 hours on a train to watch these fights. So the fact that I'm saying that is saying something about this card. Anyways, see you next one. Deuces. I'm out.